right, so we got Devin the Dream Haney, 22 years old, orthodox fighter, 25, 15 KOs, 5'8", 71-inch reach, against my main man, Jorge Linares, who's 35 years old, 47-5, 29 KOs. All of his losses have been KO losses. He's an orthodox fighter, 5'8", 69-inch reach. Some of the pros about Haney, what I like about him, he's one of those stay outside type fighters, picks his shots well, excellent with the jab, good footwork, great skills, slippery on defense, often pot shots his opponent. Like once he gets the timing down, then he'll, just pot shot you to death. Weakness, and again, that's a glaring weakness, is that the lack of punching power. As far as Linares, he's what I would consider a pro's pro. If a person has never seen a professional fighter and you put them in front of the TV and you show them Jorge Linares, then they'll probably automatically know that that's a professional fighter that they're watching. Because offensively, he's gifted. Beautiful footwork, great use of the combination, power punching. I mean, he has it all when it comes to his offense. He's a very big, solid 130-pound fighter. So this is a huge risk for Devin the Dream Haney. Linares' weakness is his defense. But he really uses his offense to mask his weakness. So again, this should be a really, really good fight. I don't know why. Well, I take my hat off to him, for wanting to fight some of these stiffer level opposition opponents. So what I think is a 60-40 fight in favor of Haney. Kind of mainly due to he's going to be slippery. And then also, it's like the youth factor and his speed, right? So I checked out Linares. He looked really, really impressive when I saw him against Luke Campbell. But Luke had his moments towards the tail end of the fight, once Linares started to slow down a little bit. But before that, he was just too fast for Luke Campbell. And then he looked really good against Loma. Like, if you think about it, before Loma caught him with that left to the body and put him out, that was like a 50-50 fight or even fight before he got knocked out. And then also he dropped Loma in that fight as well. So, he's a highly skilled, very talented fighter. But against Loma, I did notice that he wasn't nearly as effective. I know Loma is a better fighter than Luke, but also the fact that Loma was faster. So he couldn't just get off like he was getting off against Luke. So I think that that's going to play a factor against Haney as well. That Haney positions himself at a certain angle where Linares is not just going to be teeing off on him. But he's still got to be careful because he is pretty heavy-handed at 135. And again, I have a 60-40 because I think Haney, what he has to do, he has to keep even with him, just like Loma did up until around the 7th, 8th round. And then he can kind of up the tempo and where Linares is going to start fading a little bit. So that's how I see it. I think Haney is going to cruise probably to, I wouldn't say necessarily cruise, but I think it's going to be like a 116, 112-ish type decision in favor of Devin the Dream Haney.
Yeah, you made a lot of good points that I was going to make. One of which I just really wanted to emphasize to people who may not be familiar with Linares, this might not be a fight that we necessarily as fans wanted for Haney, but it's still a great test and a good step up for him. Linares is by no means a slouch. He's a 3-division world champ. He most recently had a belt at 135 in 2018 that he lost to Loma, who, as we all know, is also not a slouch. But, he also knocked down Loma for the first time in his career in that fight. He's currently ranked 7th in the division by the ring. And so, this is a tough fight for Haney. And so salute to him for taking that fight. Linares' biggest win that you referenced already was against Luke Campbell in 2017. You also referenced that he's a relatively aging fighter at 35 in a young division, and he's been in a few wars. Like you said, all of his losses have been knockout losses. And so, I do think that if Haney is as elite as advertised, he should win a clear decision. I would probably give it a 65-35 advantage over Haney. I highly doubt it would be a knockout just because he just doesn't have the power for that. And people use it as a knock against him, but if you're a good boxer, you can win by decision. Why not win by decision? You do what you can as a fighter. You leverage your skill set, and so again, Haney is just a very solid boxer. He's slick, he's slippery, and I think that he'll get the job done here. When I see Linares again, he's a 3-division champ, but at this stage in his career, at the weight class that he's in, when he's made those steps up, those elite fighters in the division have found a way to get it done. Save for Luke Campbell. So I will give Haney the edge here.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you guys. I actually like this fight for Devin Haney, actually. I think Linares is underratedly tough. He's been in some wars. But he's also one of those guys you just can't sleep on. You have to be up for him. Because as Luke Campbell found out, you really got to be there. You be up for him. Like, as you guys said, all of his losses were TKOs, but it's not like he just, lacks chin or he's like Americana or anything like that. I mean, he sometimes he fades or loses concentration in fights because when you watch him, he's very supremely talented, as you guys stated. It's just that he has these areas where it just, when he's turned up on him, he just falters. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Devin Haney can do to him, and also to see if, because sometimes I think the idea that Devin Haney lacks power, I think while there's truth in that he's not like this power puncher, this will determine if he has that dog in him. Because to be quite honest, I expect Devin Haney to stop Jorge Linares late. So that's my prediction. They stops him late.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.